we've got the new Ford Explorer.
An ST line with the base engine. Let's listen for it.
Definitely gets louder when you accelerate quickly.
I call it a thrump.
Yeah.
It's got a thrumping sound. What's under the hood of this thing, Andrea?
We've got the base engine, a 2.3-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder with a 10-speed automatic transmission, 300 horsepower and 310 pound-feet of torque. In Canada, standard 4-wheel drive, but in the US, rear-wheel drive and 4-wheel drive options are available.
That's right, it's a rear-wheel platform for this Explorer, one of the reasons why it handles so well. We're going to get into all of that in a moment. Right now, the key standard features of the base model Explorer.
The base trim comes with a 12.3-inch digital driver display, a 13.2-inch touchscreen, wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, a 6-speaker audio system, Ford digital experience, heated power front seats, cloth upholstery, a power liftgate, terrain management system, Ford Copilot 360 Assist with adaptive cruise. In the US, a heated steering wheel is not standard.
So we mentioned we are driving the base model. It was last summer we had a chance to drive the more powerful version, which is the 3-liter twin turbo that's available in the Platinum and standard in the ST. It has 400 horsepower, a lot of power, and 415 pound-feet of torque.
Yeah.
Now if you get that model or this model, they both come with a 10-speed automatic.
And that's why we wanted to get this base powertrain back, to see what people really buy. Now, if you want the performance, you got to go for that twin turbo V6. But we're finding the passing power on the highway is definitely sufficient in this model. It just gets a little bit louder in the cabin.
And Ford was early to this game of downsizing from a V6 and going to a turbo 4-cylinder. They've been doing that with their EcoBoost technology for many years, and the rest of the industry is sort of catching up to what they already started. You think of all of the other mid-size SUVs either have or will eventually have a turbo 4-cylinder.
And I would say compared to that twin turbo V6, this offers a more comfortable drive, you know, especially since we drove the ST model, which has that sport tune suspension, and you definitely feel more bumps in the road. I think this one does a pretty good job with imperfections. I also like how light the steering is for maneuverability. Turning radius is excellent on this model, and I would say acceleration from a stoplight is good.
And it pushes you through the corner. That's the rear wheel bias all-wheel drive, or just the base rear wheel drive unit, and that's one of the things. Its handling is above average because of that.
Now, if you want to up the sportiness even further with this model, you can add a package and get the 21-inch wheels, performance brakes, and red brake calipers, which we have on our test model.
Yeah, but you know what I like about this over the ST is we found the ST was great for power, but you had no way of changing the exhaust sound. It was kind of an always-on thing, and it was good when you really wanted to be sporty, but you couldn't just dial it down. So this one, see, we're going along at a steady highway speed now, and we have all the different drive modes. I'll put it in sport. But what else do we need to put it in, Andrea?
You got to put it in S for subscribe, and if you can hit that notification bell, you'll be notified when all of our reviews drop, and then you can watch them.
And we do this, the Couple Car Review, twice a week. The first one drops on Wednesday.
We put another one out on Saturday.
So if you like what we do, it'd be good if you could subscribe. Okay, now we're going at a steady speed. Doesn't sound that bad. Now put your foot into it. See? The thrumping is back. That actually sounds pretty good, though.
Yeah, but some might say, oh, I actually like that
sound. Know what?
It sounds sportier, throaty.
I think there's a little bit pumped in there. Because when you put it in sport, it definitely changed the sound. That makes me feel like, yeah, they're piping something in there.
I've always really liked the exterior design of the Explorer. I think Ford has really nailed it along the way. Interior, not so much over the years, but big improvements this year.
Yeah, we're going to touch on the interior in a moment. I said to Andrea the other day over coffee, I said this might be the most improved interior in a mainline car I've seen in the past year. So more on the interior in a moment, but I agree with you, Andrea. It's very handsome. You know, Ford used to own Land Rover, Range Rover back in the day, and I certainly feel like they borrowed some Range Rover kind of vibes from this with putting the script across. Actually, we were at the auto show one time, and Chip Foose, you know, the car designer, was there, and he did a vehicle with the lettering across the front, and he's the one that basically got that started as a sort of a concept vehicle. They've run with it. Now everybody does it. I like it. You see these a lot, Andrew. You know where you see them? You see them with the lights and sirens on top. So it does look kind of like a bit badass. I think that's the way to describe it.
And you know what? Zach and I were doing our drive-bys car to car on this highway yesterday, and we're trying to have people pass us, and nobody wants to pass us because they think that we are cops. And so we had to actually pull over so they felt comfortable to pass. It was pretty funny.
Officer Spencer.
Yes, Officer Spencer.
Hey, I just want to know, Andrew, you have handcuffs at home?
I do not.
Oh, it's okay.
God. Luckily we're married, huh? The Explorer gets 7.6 inches of ground clearance. The ST and Platinum models get a little bit more, 7.8 for the ST and 8.2 for the Platinum. This Ford comes standard with LED headlamps, body-colored door handles, LED tail lamps, 18-inch wheels, available 20-inch and 21-inch wheels, dual exhaust pipes, and a mini spare tire. If you get the twin-turbo V6, you get quad chrome exhaust pipes, and available features include power folding side mirrors, LED fog lamps, and LED signature lighting.
No, I mentioned it already. Do you kind of agree with me? Is this one of the most improved interiors from a mainline brand? Do you kind of agree with me?
Absolutely.
So years ago, when Andrea and I first started doing the videos together, those were fun times, weren't they, Andrea?
Fun times.
We had the Explorer, and I pointed out all the mismatched panels in the center console. It just was plastic, fantastic.
Yeah.
Now they've got cloth applique on the dash, different kinds of materials, nice fitting panels, and there's no shiny hard plastic.
Now the base model comes with cloth upholstery. This ST line has cloth as well with some leatherette. And then if you go up to the ST model, you've got a faux suede, and the Platinum is your most luxurious with perforated leather, but you can also add quilting and stitching.
One nice thing is they've got this knurled sort of aluminum piece just under the radio, and you think, why would they do that? But when you actually rest your hand on it and then use the buttons on the screen, it's great. Your hand doesn't slide around. They've got Explorer across there, all kinds of different materials. They put the wireless charger right in the center here. This is really well done, and I've been saying it for years, Andrea. I love cloth on the dashpad.
In this center console, there's another storage unit, which you can close or keep open if you want to tuck things away. And this is not bad for size. It's not as deep as I thought it would go, but good enough. And the door pockets are wide. You can put a few water bottles there if you choose. One thing I'm not crazy about, some may disagree with me, is the dial shifter. It's not my favorite, but
you get used to it. You do get used to it. And the thing that's nice about it when you do get used to it is you just spin it, you're in drive, you're in park. Like it's just a flick of the wrist, Andrea. And I guess
flick of the wrist.
Flick of the wrist, and you get what you want. Just like when you put those cuffs on me. Flick of the wrist.
Flick of the wrist. I might actually try that. Now at the center console, it's all soft materials. Come on, Ford. Way to go.
Yep.
Such an impressive interior, and the technology is great. This ST line model, as well as the ST, is a flat bottom steering wheel and then red stitching throughout. Also, guess what? Available Blue Cruise on this model. Front parking sensors are available, but rear parking sensors are actually standard. This is a 6 to 7 passenger vehicle, 2 seats in the third row, but Ford has added a bench seat to almost all trims. The only one that doesn't get it in Canada is the Platinum with the more powerful powertrain. And in the US it's the same, except also the ST model comes with captain's chairs.
Available features include a 360-degree camera, 8-way power passenger seat, driver's seat memory, ventilated front seats, heated steering wheel, twin-panel moonroof, wireless charger, 10 or 14 speaker B&O sound system, heated second row seats, second row sunshades, and a power folding third row. Here's me getting in the second row. Because this is a 3-row SUV, of course the second row has to slide fore and aft. They also recline. You get pretty good legroom and headroom. How does this stack up?
Comparing the Explorer to the Honda Pilot, the Explorer has 43 inches of front row legroom, which is 2 inches more than the Pilot. Second row legroom at 39 inches is almost 2 inches smaller than the Honda.
And then you slide the second row forward to climb into the third row. This isn't the biggest in this class. I have to say getting in was fairly easy, and room in the third row is, I would say, adequate for adults, but really best for kids.
Third row legroom for the Explorer is 32.2 inches, which is about the same as the Pilot.
Lifting up the power liftgate, you can see with all of the seats up, there isn't a ton of space behind the third row. The nice thing is on this model, as Andrea mentioned, one up from the base, it has the power folding third row.
Space behind the third row for the Explorer is 16.3 cubic feet. Behind the second row, 46 cubic feet. And overall cargo space is 85.8 cubic feet, which is only a little bit smaller than the Pilot.
Well, Ford has said they're going to do more hybrids, but they cut the hybrid in this. That's coming up in our hot topic after coffee time.
Time now for questions, coffee, and cars.
Your questions from Instagram.
Does the 2.3-liter engine require 91 octane fuel? Here in southwestern Ontario, that grade is typically 30 cents a liter more than 87. This makes a fill-up almost $20 more expensive than it is if it needs 87.
So we've got some excellent news for you and also some bad news for you. The bad news is in British Columbia, it's the same.
Yeah.
It's 30, I think it's still 30 cents more.
Pricey.
The good news is what, Andrea?
You can use regular fuel,
Yes,
so that's a bonus.
It's not that you can use it, it's actually calibrated for regular fuel.
It is.
So there you go.
Yeah, so
Fill
good
her up.
news, good news. I used to sell Fords, and the last vehicle I sold was a 2020 ST to my parents. I think the most underrated thing no one is talking about is the floor-mounted accelerator pedal. Gives the Explorer that German sporty vibe. You know, I don't typically think about that, but when you sent this question in on Instagram, I was like, yeah, you're right. I never noticed that.
I could care less. I honestly just...
Zach doesn't care.
As somebody who started driving old Volkswagen Beetles and Porsches with the pedals that swung from the top, these swing this way.
Yeah.
They swung this way. I don't. That was something to get used to. This, I just don't think about things like that.
No.
I'm just like, does it work? The only reason you would want that is for heel and toe downshifting, which you're not doing in an Explorer.
No, you certainly aren't. But good comment. We've added it, and I'd love to hear if anybody else thinks that way too. So chime in.
If you want to get a question in, make sure you follow along on Instagram. It's Motormouth_Andrea, and it also shows you what's going on behind the scenes. For me, it's Motormouth_Auto, and the links are below the like button.
Great color. How is the reliability rating for this vehicle? Well, this vehicle is new. It's got updated technology in it, but the powertrains are carried over. And so JD Power gives it a score of 83 out of 100
That's high
for
from them.
reliability,
Yeah.
which is the previous model. So, I mean, that's good. You know, the Explorer is getting some good reliability scores.
Yeah, and there was something about Consumer Reports. It was off the list and then it was on the list. But anyway, it's definitely good to look at vehicles where they've carried forward. The platform is the same. The engines are the same. The transmission's the same. What has been updated is all of the dash stuff.
Yeah.
So there's some good news there that it's not an all-new power plant.
For sure.
And now it's time for our hot topic. What's this one, Andrea?
Can't wait for your review. In the market where hybrid is in high demand, why did Ford decide to discontinue the hybrid Explorer?
Well, back in the day when Andrea and I started doing these videos together, another vehicle we drove was the hybrid version of this. And we were disappointed with the fuel economy. We found it expensive, and Ford has gotten rid of it. Why would they do that, Andrea?
Yeah, the fuel economy was terrible, so I can understand why they got rid of it. It wasn't a popular choice. It's interesting, when we drove that hybrid, it still had the V6, and at that time, Toyota was moving away from the V6 with their hybrid powertrain. So Zach and I thought, oh wow, this is great, but it didn't deliver on fuel economy.
Well, they have announced that they are going to have hybrids in every trim that they offer up to 2030. So I would suspect that this is probably going to get some kind of tweaking as we go along. Not sure on the timeline. This is just new for this year, maybe a year or two down the road.
Maybe.
So let's get into the fuel economy of this base model and more in our vital stats.
Let's start with pricing. We'll do Canada first and then move on to the US. Pricing includes freight, PDI, and fees. The base model starts at just under $53,000, and the top ST with the V6 is just over $71,000. In the US, the first rear-wheel drive model starts at just under $40,000, and the top trim four-wheel drive is just over $56,000.
Here's the fuel economy, 11.9 liters per 100 kilometers in the city, 8.7 on the highway. That's just 20 miles per gallon in the city, 27 though on the highway. This Explorer can tow 5,000 pounds and the warranty is 3 years, 60,000 kilometers or 36,000 miles. Three-row midsize SUVs, here's four to consider.
For your consideration, 4 vehicles for you to consider.
Up first is a Nissan Pathfinder with a 3.5-liter V6, 284 horsepower and a starting price of almost $50,000.
The Kia Telluride with a 3.8-liter V6, 291 horsepower and a starting price of $54,000.
The Mazda CX-90 with a 3.3-liter inline-6 turbo, 280 horsepower and a starting price of $49,000.
The Honda Pilot with a 3.5-liter V6, 285 horsepower and a starting price of $55,000.
So there are 4 three-row SUVs for you to consider.
Lightning round, 2 things we like, 2 things we'd like to see improved.
Ford did a wonderful job on this interior.
Ford did a wonderful job on this interior.
We think the same.
How come you get to go first? All right, what's your dislike?
Well, I would like to see a bench seat on that Platinum model with the more powerful engine.
It's not really a negative against this product. I think it's just one of those things you have to try. People just have preconceived notions of this vehicle. I suggest you give it a shot because it's the Ford Explorer. What do you guys think of that?
Thanks for watching, and if you like what you see, subscribe. We'll see you next time.